Robseco Future Farm. Today's innovations, tomorrow's solutions.
Hello and welcome back to Future Farm. I'm your host, Jim Robinson, and here we are today with James Paterson from AgroTech USA. So welcome, James.
Thanks.
So James, before we get into anything about product, technologies, and innovations, tell us first about AgroTech USA.
So AgroTech USA, we're a company, we're about 10 years old. So we're a science-based company, so we spent the first kind of 4 or 5 years developing a solution. So for us, our big target was looking at phosphorus efficiency and obviously understanding all the dynamics, the fact that it's a really inefficient nutrient at the farmer level. What could we do to impact that? So fortunately now we've gotten to a couple patented chemistry lines, and obviously that's why we're here talking today.
Excellent. So first, let's think about from the farmer's perspective, your innovations that you guys have developed over these last 10 years, what does that do to benefit the farmer?
Well, let's just talk about the problem. All right, we're sitting here in front of a cornfield right now. So if you think about phosphorus in general, phosphorus is a pretty inefficient nutrient. It's something every farmer needs, every crop requires. We tend to front load it with fertilizer. Now, it's widely published out in the market that phosphorus has a maximum single season availability of 20%. So that means for every dollar you're investing, you're getting 20% into the plant that season. The biggest problem's under our feet right now. It's a chemistry equation that's really affecting this. When do we apply our phosphorus? Early. When is this crop taking up most of its phosphorus? 75% of it is after V10. So we have a timing issue and a chemistry issue that's limiting the genetic potential of our crops from achieving their peak potential because they're not getting access to phosphorus at the right time. In the soil, we know a plant accesses phosphorus through its root system. 2% of everything there is available. Plants cycle phosphorus in and out of available form, but then the chemistry in the soil wants to bring it back into a form that it is unavailable. What we do with our chemistry platform is we take the effective chemistry out of the soil. For example, the easiest way to describe this, and I like to use magnets, phosphorus is a negative charge, it's your negative magic. In your soil, depending on what your pH, we'll say high pH, you've got a lot of calcium. When they get together, the plant doesn't have access to it. What our chemistry is we break that bond. So we keep the phosphorus that you put in the soil or the phosphorus that your plant's cycling in available form longer, extracting more value from that application.
Oh, that's outstanding. So yeah, we've always talked about the available and unavailable forms of phosphorus. So this is just taking more of the unavailable phosphorus, turning it into available phosphorus for when the plant needs it.
Exactly.
So how's this applied? Is this something that, it doesn't sound like we're applying it fully early when the plant's actually taking it up. So tell us how does a farmer use it? Well,
initially when we started the company, it was really easy. We said fertilizer has a known efficiency, that's treat fertilizer, you start a fertilizer, that's put it in it and extend the window. Realistically now, what we know about our product when we started to where we are today has widely expanded. We have multiple application systems. So we use a planter box application method. This goes in furrow. This can actually go in livestock manure, or it can go with fertilizer itself.
Okay, so it's a really flexible application then. So it sounds like the ease of use is pretty simple for the farmer, right?
Well, eventually, fortunately we've been able to grow in the in-furrow market. We're on close to 5 million acres this year with the technology. The problem is we know the in-furrow market's really limited. And we had so many farmers asking us, is there another way we can get this into the soil? So like with everything, a science-based company, we wanted to make sure we had the research. So we started evaluating what happened on seed, and this was the real transformation for our company. So there's a lot of solutions in the market today focusing on the biology of the soil, which is a great thing. Soil health is extremely important. What's one thing that plant's doing when we increase the biology? It's taking phosphorus from the soil and putting it in the same form that fertility's in. So we said, could we research this on seed and what would be the benefit and synergies with biological systems? There's a huge synergy because everything we're doing in the soil, so, I take a delivery mechanism that we have, seed treatment aid now. So we make a product called Power Plant, which is an alternative to talc graphite. So the reason we wanted to do an alternative to talc graphite is talc's quite hard on biology. And everything we're trying to deliver to the field, we want to get in the form that it's the most reactive in. So we've been able to use our product as a base carrier, add microalgae, which we know is really important to soil health, and then put things like PPFMs in. You guys have talked about PPFMs before.
Yes, we have. And so PPFMs, just give us a quick reminder on what PPFMs are and their compatibility.
And great synergy. So that's what we're always screening in the market for technologies that, because if a grower's going to spend an additional investment, you want those investments 1 + 1 = 3. You don't want them crossing over because all you're doing is reducing ROI. So what we know that PPFMs do, there's obviously a biocontrol standpoint, which is great for long season plant health, but the biostimulant part is essential. We want to build the biggest root system possible. We know the PPFM's function is to drive a big root system. Well, what's that doing? It's a bigger engine bringing more phosphorus into the soil, which means we can have a greater impact on the availability. And it's been really interesting to see in some of our screening tests that we've done, just putting those two technologies together and comparing them against a conventional in-furrow program, there's more phosphorus that we're extracting from the soil available to the plant than if we were adding that phosphorus in a fertilizer solution.
That's excellent. And so, you know, we're doing some trials with you guys out in fields with a lot of our growers, a lot of our customers, and we really like these planter box solutions that, you know, doesn't necessarily have to be seed treatment, doesn't have to be applied in furrow. You know, not everybody has that application technology. So, you know, what do we expect to see out of these? If we're increasing the amount of available phosphorus, providing additional biostimulant to the plants, you know, what can we see out of the plant later in the season?
Well, I think let's start up front. We know that one of the biggest challenges for a lot of plants is early season with phosphorus. So as you move north, what do you have? Cool soil temperatures. Nothing cycles there. So we know that we can give that plant a jump start. So typically what we've seen this year, unfortunately we've seen, is you're going to see more even emergence, faster emergence, which is a big start. You know, we're trying to capture sunlight and turn it into yield. Every day we get out in the field is a head start on that season. But what we're really trying to show is when we move late in season is we don't want that plant short of one nutrient. Because we talk about phosphorus and we talk about it on corn, but you know, something like soybeans, we don't talk about the importance of phosphorus. Phosphorus is essential for nitrogen conversion, which if you don't have enough phosphorus in the plant, you can't convert nitrogen. Phosphorus is really important in a plant to manage stress because it's a big part of ATP production in a plant.
And you know, you can also see some blooming differences or flowering differences with more phosphorus available to the plant. You can mitigate stress by getting ahead of heat, both in corn and in soybeans. Earlier tasseling in corn, more blooms in soybeans. So yeah, I mean, these are really great technologies. It's going to be really fun to see what we see out of these trials this summer, but you guys aren't just ending there, right, with these technologies. You're continuing to develop new products and technologies.
Yeah, like I said at the beginning, so we know what we do on phosphorus from the chemistry piece. So whatever we can do to that plant to build more fertility for us to impact is a better situation. So, you know, fortunately the last 3 years we've been screening as many different technologies as possible to be able to promote that plant to get more access to nutrition. So we have a great relationship with the PPFM company, strong synergies there, and then we're going to launch a new technology platform this year, Tri-Phase, which gives us access to the third pool of phosphorus in the soil. So we know we can protect fertilizer that goes in the ground. We know we can elongate fertilizer released from the soil, but under every pound of soil in the United States, there's something called calcium phosphate, hydroxyapatite. That's how we make phosphorus fertilizer. It's there, it doesn't show up on your soil test, and you have years and years of supply of phosphorus. The challenge has been, can we unlock that in the soil and make a measurable difference? Now, after a few years of research, we have a really cool technology that we can pair together with NutriCharge, where we're showing we can actually dig into that pool. And why is that important? It's important for a number of reasons. One, we're short on phosphorus. US has got 20, 25 years of extractable phosphorus there. We know it's a low efficient nutrient. So especially in a tough commodity market like this year, we're spending, you know, upwards of $800 on a nutrient that gives us 10 to 20% availability. What happens when we start to think about things a little bit differently? If we can access more here, we can save the growers money, and at the end of the day, all that matters is that plant has the right amount of phosphorus at the right time.
Exactly. So, you know, the overall intent is not just to make it more available for the grower, but also potentially in the future allow the grower to reduce how much they're fertilizing with exogenous phosphorus into the soils.
I mean, it's all about efficiency. Everything we do on the chemistry side from farming has become more efficient. Yeah, we talk about more efficient timing of nutrients. We know right now most growers apply in furrow, and the reason they apply in furrow, if we didn't have a problem with phosphorus efficiency, we'd still be broadcast spreading it. We're trying to band it close to overcome the challenges of chemistry in the soil. If we can make things more efficient, all we're doing is giving the grower a head start and able to redistribute some of those other input costs towards an entire management plan.
Oh, that is excellent news. I appreciate you spending the time with us here today. We're really excited to see what we get out of these results this year and the future developments that you guys are bringing to market.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Likewise.